What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another Ranger Central post-game show here as we are going to recap game 59 of the regular season as the Rangers fall the Blue Jackets 4-2, ending their 10-game winning streak, which is just unfortunate because of the fact that they could have ended up setting a franchise record for 11 straight wins in this one. Did not happen. Did not happen. And there was a lot to really despise about this game. Like the fact that they got outplayed this heavily by the Columbus Blue Jackets disgust me. Losing 2 games to the Blue Jackets this season disgust me. And yeah, this is just what happens when people are upset yesterday. Yesterday, fans in the chat were not happy and satisfied because they felt defensively that the team did not play good enough and that this could carry over into tonight. And I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. And I said it yesterday too. I felt like this was going to be a trap game. And oh boy, did they just play horrible on the defensive side of the puck all night. All night did they play horrible on the defensive side of the puck. The only one that really came to play on the defensive side of the puck throughout this game was Adam Fox. Like that was about it. Adam Fox, even then, he did have a little bit of a miscue on the first goal there that Columbus scores. He just didn't even tie up. Who was it? Voronikov, right? Yeah, Voronikov right in front of the net. Doesn't get there, but outside that, I mean, Fox, he was like the only one that showed up on the defensive side. There was nothing else. Columbus was getting odd man rushes at will. That's something that the Rangers were starting to limit, and that just wasn't the case in this game. Jacob Trouba and Keandre Miller played probably the worst game I've ever seen them play, and that says a lot because I've seen them play poor games together. Those two played way too poorly in this game. Panarin with a game where he didn't look good. I mean, that second line got exposed a lot in terms of getting pinned in their own end on defense. And like Lafreniere, there was one play where he had a good back check. That's great, but he also turned the puck over in the same play. Zibanejad turning the puck over at will, just firing terrible one-timers too. And then he gets an odd man rush with Kreider shorthanded in the game. He doesn't shoot the puck yet again. I don't understand what's going on that he's not shooting the puck on these odd man rushes. That has to change. How many times do I have to say it? You got the best damn shot on the team. When you use it, start using it. Start using it. It's just infuriating that he's electing to pass on some of these opportunities. You can't do that. You just cannot do that. And it's just infuriating. The only ones that look like they came to play in terms of the forward group was at Rempe and Edstrom yet again. And then, Goudreau, I am very critical of him. I can at least respect, not that he was great tonight, but, he had a nice little stop at the doorstep when Cole Sillinger could have had an easy tap in. At least there was a back-checking effort there. But Rempe and Edstrom were the only noticeable presence in the forward group, and they didn't even get a lot of ice time in this game because Rempe, he fought early in the game yet again, got rocked in that fight, and then he ended up going to the locker room to get evaluated. So he came back out. He was fine, thankfully, but him and Edstrom were like the only ones that were noticeable all night in terms of the forecheck. Like the forecheck was just poor for most of this game. And Laviolette switched up the lines a little bit. And you saw a little bit of spark when it was Kreider, Zibanejad, and Panarin, but not enough. Like not enough quality chances, especially against a piss poor Columbus Blue Jackets team. And Elvis Merzlikins looked like he had way too easy of a job between those pipes tonight. Between those pipes, he had way too easy of a job. And pause. That can't happen, though. That cannot happen against the Columbus Blue Jackets. And again, I get it. You're going to lose to bad teams throughout the year. They weren't going to go undefeated the rest of the season, but you can't lose to the Blue Jackets like this. Like 16 high danger chances against at 5v5 alone for the Blue Jackets. That's disgusting. That's gross. And then the Rangers only had 8 at 5v5. That second period in particular was just really bad, especially wow. And I don't know how that's the period where they ended up getting that goal. I mean, they got one goal there. They had one in the first, but I don't understand how you lay that much of an egg. And I get that people are going to say, well, chalk it up to a back-to-back, but they were 9-0 going into this game on back-to-backs. Is that really the excuse we could use? Is it the excuse we could use? I'm not behind that. I'm not behind that because at the end of the day, It's the Blue Jackets, and the Rangers did come out with a little bit of jump to their game, and then all of a sudden, after the fight, Trouba takes a holding penalty. They go down shorthanded, and all of a sudden, the momentum swings in the Blue Jackets' favor. And sure, the Rangers got things going a bit once they did score. Fox sets up Panarin to snipe one, and all of a sudden, it's tied at 1. The Rangers started to get a couple good shifts after that. Then the end of the period reeked a bit, and it's like, all right, this is not a good sign going into the second. In the second period, I can't even express enough how poor that second period was. That was just embarrassing. Miller and Trouba with just right off the rip in the period, they had good back-checking efforts, and then all of a sudden, it looks like they didn't know what to do on the rest of the play. The forwards weren't helping back-check at all, and Marchenko just had a chance right in front of the net, and made it 2-1. Man. Cannot happen. Then Jenner gets an odd man rush chance. Lindgren absent on that play. Gustafsson turning the puck over. Fox at least had a nice step up, right? To maybe get the Rangers going a bit. Nope. Because the Rangers were just terrible in transition in this game. And then the Rangers started trying to do what they always do when they go down in the games. Tried forcing the home run pass. Gustafsson tries to force one. All of a sudden, another chance for Columbus. Panarin to Lafreniere on a rush, broken up, and then all of a sudden, the line juggling comes in. Provorov goes off for a tripping penalty, and the power play was just abysmal. There was no urgency on the power play until the end of the game. And yeah, the Rangers did afterwards score at least. The fourth line goes out there. Rempe to Edstrom on the entry. Rempe in front of the net. I think it went off of Bean, though. Bean skate. So the goal did end up going to Edstrom on that one. But yeah, 2-2. And then right after, you surrender the lead, because what happens? Keandre Miller with a terrible, terrible, terrible pinch. And all of a sudden, Columbus comes the other way. Gaudreau to Roslovic, who scores. And Miller just puck watching, too, on that back check. What are you doing there, man? This is what pisses me off about the Keandre Miller experience, is that this is what we've been talking about all season long. He either plays like he's one of the best defensemen on this team, or he plays like he's one of the worst defensemen in the entire NHL. There is zero in between with Keandre Miller's play. And tonight they got the Pee Wee hockey mistake levels from Keandre Miller. Trouba taking another penalty. Shinnikov had a chance right in front, fired high on it. Power play ends, and then Trouba, a terrible pinch of his own. No effort from him on the back check. 3-on-2. Provorov nets one. 4-2 game. There was also a play, I don't remember if it was earlier or late, but Miller too, like he tries to go, as they're exiting their zone, he tries to go across the blue line there with the pass, and it just gets intercepted, I think, by Marchenko, leading to a chance. Thankfully, he passed on it. But again, why? Why is that happening? And he did the same thing against the Ottawa Senators, too. And in the third period, there was virtually no urgency in this third period until late in it. Like, Lafreniere did have a chance off of a takeaway in front of the net. Couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat there. And then, again, terrible turnovers. Mika had one right behind the net. Miller absent on the play. Quick making big stops again. More bad turnovers. Quick making more big stops. Trouba with bad back checks yet again. Blowing assignments. But at least Sam and Joe point out when Trouba had one block in the game on Boquist. But yeah, they got a power play late. They pulled the goalie. That was the most urgency you saw from them in terms of firing pucks at Merzlikins, and they didn't even do that. Mika had a wide open cage to fire a one-timer in. Didn't go in. Didn't matter anyway. That only would have made it 4-3. And yeah, just cannot happen, these efforts like this against the Blue Jackets. And I'm just annoyed because of the fact that I had a bad feeling going into the game. And on top of that, I had my worries because of the way they played defensively against Philly. And that's what I was questioning. Was what we saw during some of the stretch Igor, or was it the team play? I don't know. We need more of a sample size. But again, March tells the story for this team. But they were going to lose at some point, and losing in this fashion is just not it. Just not it. And especially against a piss poor Blue Jackets team. Before we jump further into everything, leave a like if you haven't already on the post-game show. Subscribe if you haven't as well. We're on the road now to 3K subs. Turn on your notifications too so you know when I upload or go live on the channel. But yeah, like this is where they absolutely need to make a trade for a defenseman. And I am trying to understand. I've loved a lot of what Laviolette has done, but I cannot understand how he justified to himself or not thought to himself to break up Miller and Trouba throughout this entire game. Trouba with 2 horrible penalties. Lindgren had a bad penalty too, by the way. He gets beaten, then takes a high sticking penalty. That took them out of the game too in the third period when they could have got some more chances. Like, how is it that we're 3 coaches in and Miller and Trouba are still together? I just don't understand why those two continue to get the benefit of the doubt, which I get it. They've won 10 straight games. It's hard to justify maybe breaking those two up, but I didn't like their game against Philly. And you know what? If you are on the ice for 4 goals against, Jacob Trouba in particular, you got to be benched. There's got to be repercussions, whether you've won 10 games in a row or not. You still are on the ice for 4 goals against, dude. Like, there's got to be repercussions. You took 2 penalties. That, like, you have to send a message and show that that's not okay. Show that it's not okay, because come playoff time, that's not going to fly. We saw it in game 3 against Tampa. He takes 2 or 3 penalties in that game, gets beat numerous times in that game. And that's what happened. And they lost that series. Game 3 in that series swung Tampa's momentum. It swung it in their favor. And all of a sudden, the rest is history. And we know what happened there. I don't think I need to get into the rest. But yeah, like, I just would love it if there was a message sent. That's all. That's all. Whether you win 10 games in a row, whether you lose 10 games in a row, if a guy is on the ice for 4 goals against and takes 2 horrendous penalties, something has to be done about that. And I'm not saying Keandre Miller was any better. Like, don't get it twisted here, but like Trouba in particular, I mean, I don't understand how there was 0 repercussion because he's the captain. I'm sorry, but that's not good enough for me. That's not good enough for me. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, the line juggling, it didn't really, like I said, it didn't really move me much. Like, the 4th line was really the only ones all night that gave a consistent effort in terms of the offense. And it's weird because you look at the shot total, they had 40 shots. The past few games they haven't, but felt like they generated way less quality chances in this game than they have in the previous games. But yeah, that's what happens, because they did also pepper a lot of those shots late because they had 18 alone in the third. But you just got beat bad. And, you know, prove to me that it was just you being tired. You play the same team on Wednesday in your own building. You got to annihilate them on Wednesday. You got to annihilate this team. You cannot let them embarrass you like that, end your win streak like that, and not feel the embarrassment. And that's got to get to them on Wednesday. And I hope it will. But yeah, I don't think I really have much else to say with this game other than it's just infuriating that that's the way the win streak ends. It's infuriating that that's the way it ends. And yeah, that's really all I got. But let's see what you guys have to say in the chat about this game. Let's see what you guys have to say. Robbie says that this team has played to the level of their competition all year long. I want to tell you something. I have no problem with the Rangers trading Keandre Miller. I mean, if like that's where, again, I just can't understand how some nights he looks like one of the best defensemen, and then some nights he's making peewee hockey mistakes. But we're in year 4 of him. He's got to stop having these type of efforts at some point. Like, I get if it happens every once in a while, but like, it's ebbs and flows with Keandre Miller where there's just, again, no in between. But Yeah, I don't know. And yeah, Mika was not good tonight. Not at all. Miller was not good. Agree with you guys. And yeah, that's why March is the measuring stick. And yeah, I'm not mad that they lost too, because it's like you win 10 in a row. It's hard to be mad, but it's the way that they lost this game where, again, it is a back-to-back. I get it, but you gotta give a way better effort. This is the Columbus Blue Jackets we're talking about. And Quick was not bad. Don't take this as me saying Quick was bad in this game, because I think Quick played fantastic given the circumstances, but his rebound control in this game too was not good enough. His rebound control was really all over the place. That's not the reason they lost the game. Again, I want to emphasize that before people come down my throat for me saying that, but it's the truth. Like, his rebound control was definitely shaky in this game at points, and that can't happen either. That can't happen either. Whether you're the backup, whether you're the starter. Sorry, just trying to do something quickly, but yeah, open something that is. But yeah, I don't know. Like, the rebound control has to be better. Yeah, I think a lot of people got the vibe that this is where it was going to end, because it's just the annual tradition for the Rangers to stink it up against the Blue Jackets. They're undefeated playing back-to-backs this year. They look like they played 5 in a row coming into this one. Easily one of their worst games of the year. Yeah. A lot of mental mistakes in this game. Yeah, they need the 2 days off, but again, and yeah, Trouba and Keandre looked like Nemeth and Tenorti levels of bad tonight. Like, that's why I'm like annoyed, is like, we're not talking that they just had like a bad game. It's like, all right, well, like, that was terrible the way that those two played. Terrible. Only the Rangers to a bottom tier. As long as they win Wednesday, yeah, they got to win Wednesday. You got to annihilate them Wednesday. You got to annihilate them. It's a fair question to ask, Anthony, which is why I've been saying that March is really where we're going to find out what this team is made of, because they play pretty much strictly playoff teams, and these teams are going to be very hungry to beat the Rangers. And if the defense is going to play like this, I mean, I can tell you now, it won't be long lived. But again, we'll see. We'll see. But they gotta get back to their roots in terms of their defense. Yep, Miller and Trouba, puck watching all night, pinching all night. Yeah, Remy outplayed the top 6 entirely. Yeah, Mika needs to be benched. I I don't think he needs to be benched entirely. Like, don't get me wrong, Mika has not been good this year, as Philk would say.
It's been dog shit.
And Mike NYR for life. I don't know if he's in that, but on the power play, he should not be getting power play minutes. He shouldn't be getting power play minutes. He's gotta start getting benched on the power play at the very least. Give it to Lafreniere the reins at this point. It was crazy to see, by the way, when they did juggle the lines. Kakko on the left and then Lafreniere on the right, because you have Lafreniere, who was a natural left winger. Kakko hasn't played on the left since junior, so that was weird to see. We'll see, Jerry. Hopefully. Hopefully. I get the point that it is a back-to-back and they travel and everything, but let's not forget that this team was 9-0 going into the night on back-to-backs. Like, let's face it, they just weren't sharp tonight at all. Like, they weren't good enough tonight at all. And I get that fans want to give them the benefit of the doubt for that, especially because they won 10 in a row. They each their own on that, but Like, let's look at examples of who they've played in back to backs where they've won those back to backs. Let's take a look. They haven't played any in February. Um, they lost to Vegas though, and then beat Ottawa. I don't know why it said they were 9-0 on back, and then the LA Anaheim one. I don't know why it said they were 9-0 on back to backs then this year. I don't know what that was about. That's that. They were literally showing it on the broadcast all night. Whatever. Regardless, though, like they've proven to be good on back to backs before. Like they beat Philly and Boston when they were playing better earlier in the season. Like, it's just the fact that it's the Blue Jackets that I can't give them the benefit of the doubt too much on this one personally, but I don't know. I don't know. Again, we'll see what happens come March. And yeah, the physicality fizzled out a bit, which that I could attest to them being tired a bit. Is that like the physicality clearly wasn't there. And yeah, this is the point. Like, it's understandable that they're not going to win every game, but it's the way that they played this game that it's just hard to give them the benefit of the doubt that it felt like there was just no effort. It felt like there was just no effort. Like, that's the issue with this one is it's not that they lost, it's the way they lost. And yeah, clearly was going to be a trap game. Yeah. Yeah, the point that I made in the call, yeah, Quick was definitely shaky tonight. Not that he was bad, but he definitely was all over the place with his rebound control. And yeah, they hopefully agree with this. I actually put out a poll during the game and I got flack for it because it's like they won 10 in a row. Why are you putting this poll out? But I mean, it's a fair question to ask. It's a fair question to ask. And I put out a poll that was what's more infuriating. This is on Twitter, by the way. Go follow me there if you haven't. And I put out a poll that said, what's more mind blowing at this point? The fact that Meek and Kreider continue to stay together at 5v5 or Miller and Trouba staying together? And Miller and Trouba lead the poll. That's understandable because they were more infuriating tonight than those two at 51.5% to 48.5% for Meek and Kreider. Close poll. Close poll. I was curious, though. Yeah, too loose in the neutral zone. Columbus was entering the zone at will. I agree. And yeah, like the fourth line was getting to the net all night. Like Rempe almost got a deflection too. I love what Rempe brought this game. I love what Edstrom brought this game. And yeah, 5 and 8 nights. Yeah, it's just again like the way that they lost this game is infuriating. The thing that's more important, though, I'll tell you right now, is that, like, we talk about it all the time, but if they're getting gassed out like this in the regular season, I know there won't be back to backs come playoff time, but they got to for sure close out series early in the playoffs this year. That's looking long term down the road ahead, but they got to close out series quicker in the playoffs. Yeah, I agree. I agree. They didn't look great yesterday. Got the win, but yeah. The only good forecheck shift was on Panarin's goal where they forced turnovers and kept the puck in 2 times. There was a couple other good from the fourth line, though, in particular. And when they did switch up the lines, that Mika Kreider Panarin line had a couple, but nothing really that sticks out enough. But I thought the fourth line was like the only ones consistently forechecking throughout the night. Fox in the fourth line showed up. Miller, so frustrating. Rush defense is the most important factor for contending teams. Yeah, and Valaket was tweeting about how it's gotten better. Tonight, it was not good, and that's why they lost this game badly. Like, the score doesn't indicate. how this went, in my opinion. Strip the C, send a message. They're not going to do that, but yeah, I'm pissed off with Trouba too. I've never been on the Zibanejad hate train, but his last two games have been the worst of an already bad season for him. He better have a great match and show up in the offs. Yeah, I agree with you, Jacob. And like, I've been critical of Zibanejad. I don't hate the guy. Like, I if I hated the guy, I wouldn't have his jersey. I wouldn't like. It's not like I'm rooting against him, and I don't think anyone is here. It's just like we're just infuriated, you know, and it's rightfully so. And yeah, you're not wrong. Like, it's fair to criticize the way that he's played in some of these games. And when he did show up against New Jersey, look at what happened. You know. And yeah, after they tie it, Miller gets caught up the ice. Cannot happen. Said it all year about the defense and transition. Yeah, Miller was looking good after the break. And tonight, though, oh boy. I think Miller was on the ice for 3, Trouba for 4, because Fox was out there on the PK was ending. And it ended up being an even strength goal, but it was pretty much like a power play goal. And yeah, I think that it was Lindgren and Fox out there. I could be wrong. I don't know. I think he was on for 4 though. He was on for 3 or 4. Chris Sherry blows. Could have had Kane, but no, because they're yeah. You guys know I want Kane back. You guys know, and it's definitely infuriating a bit, especially seeing this team having a glaring hole on the top line right wing, and he now has more goals than Bonino, Pitlick, and Wheeler had combined for this team. But nothing we can do about it now. Nothing we can do about it now. A lot of people want Miller dealt after this game. A lot of people want him dealt. The Rangers don't seem to ever get that these bottom teams play a run and gun offensive style game, and you have to slow them down physicality, or they skate circles around us with rush chances. That's the point. That's the point. That's probably the best comment I think that I've ever gotten on this channel. It's definitely up there. That's a great comment, Nicole. Yeah, you're 1,000% on the money with that. They need to slow these teams down, especially Columbus, who's going to come out there hungry. And, you know, they know going into this game that you're trying to set history, and they're going to play their ass off like that. And you got to be ready, especially. And that's what killed them against the Devils. Like, how many times do we talk about that too, that they didn't neutralize their speed at all? And it's not overreacting. It's just talking about how the game went. And it's true. This was a poor game. This was a poor game, poor effort. Yeah, always lay an egg against Columbus. Always, always, always. It's like clockwork. Meek looks drunk. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Nice run. Start up again at home on Wednesday, hopefully. Yeah, Tampa does worry me, underratedly. Tampa worries me. Let's see what else is there. That's why I said I felt the 10-game win streak was a bit fugazi. The only game in that streak they looked good defensively was the Devils game. Not sustainable enough. It's hard to argue. And yeah, like that's the thing. They found ways to win in that win streak. And I agree with the last point. Accountability is definitely lacking, but we've addressed that all season long. Like I'm numb to it at this point, which is why when I was talking about Trouba not being held accountable, I'm not yelling the point anymore because I've shouted the point enough that it's like I want there to be accountability no matter the status of the player, but it's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. It's not worth yelling about anymore. Simple as that. Yeah, Schneider, I mean, he was probably the second best defenseman. He didn't play great in my opinion, but he was probably the second best. I could agree with that. Yeah, Mika needs to start shooting. Mika needs to start shooting. We'll see what happens, Rick. But yeah, March is going to tell us it all. And yeah, they need to find a way to play and bring that energy that they did against New Jersey. Like with that game, you could tell and feel that they were out for vengeance because it was the team that beat them. Have that sort of urgency more often. Like they need to have that urgency more often. I agree they need a defenseman, but John Carlson's not happening. As Corsair and I agree, March is going to show Ranger fans and themselves what this team is made of and where they actually rank in the league. Yeah, that's yeah, 100%, 1,000%. Would have been more okay with them losing a tight playoff style game to the Flyers yesterday than lose in this fashion. Agree with that too. Yeah. And yeah, I'm not gonna be mad if people do chalk it up to them being tired, but you know, again, like there needs to be a better effort still, in my opinion, than this. Like this is the Columbus Blue Jackets. What defender could they trade for? That's good. I don't even know who. I really don't even know who they could get. I like Carrier. I like Sean Walker. I like Hannafin, but you know, I'm not sure if any of these are realistic options, honestly. Like we're not even hearing rumors of them being interested in defensemen. I know jury's tight lip, but we've heard leaks about at least that they're interested in right wingers and centers, but nothing about a defenseman. But at the same time, we didn't hear about it last year and they got Mikla, so who knows? Call me Mike NYR for life because Mika was talk shit. Yeah. Yeah, Mike NYR for life is right. And yeah, a lot of back-to-backs too. Who would they bench when they make a trade for defenseman? Gustafson. Gustafson. Like Gustafson, he wasn't the worst defenseman today, but he played bad. He played bad. Do you think Rempe and Artemi would be uh I'm not sure what you're trying to say there, Lewis. Sorry. I don't know what I don't know if you're asking if I think Rempe is going to be on the playoff roster, but yeah, I mean, I potentially like I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't think no, I'm not saying they're gonna change come playoff time. I'm saying that like the play itself needs to elevate from like Mika and Kreider come playoff time specifically and just the team in general. But I still agree, like Miller and Trouba need to be split up. We've talked about this ad nauseum. I'm with you there, Iceman. I'm with you there. Yeah, Mika needs to be better. I want Kane to move on from Goudreau. Yeah, yeah. Lacking effort, have to be better. I agree, Rocco. Piss poor, agree. This is not good when we don't try against lesser teams. But saying since been saying this since 16 versus Ottawa, don't get easy when they play against lesser teams. They are still NHL teams and are good if you don't try. Yeah. Yep. Agree with you there. Yeah, I'm embarrassed too. I'm embarrassed too. The Rangers easily feed off in the transition, run and gun style from the bottom feeders. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you, Iceman, that Truba's poor play does get overlooked sometimes from the hits he throws. And that's my issue with Kreider. When I argue with people about Kreider and his play, like that's the thing that I'm always talking about is like it's the physicality and like sometimes he just doesn't move his feet and he's just gliding. Like that New Jersey game, he was noticeable because he was actually physical and he was actually moving his feet. That's the Kreider they need on a nightly basis. It's just I don't know why it feels like he just uh chooses to like he just chooses when he wants to show up sometimes. Yeah, Valley's right. They need to play a smart game. Rangers turned down Elias Lindholm trade. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Because I have a feeling they probably want like Perot or Othman. The Rangers hung up the phone, which I can't blame them. Yeah, the Rangers could play the Wings in the playoffs, and Patrick Kane is going to have a fire under him for that series. Telling you now, Patrick Kane is not going to play games that series. Yep, I miss Heedle too. I miss Heedle too. Should have kept Butcher, Frankie. Yeah, or Kane. Any of them. Any of them. I mean, Lafreniere was okay. I didn't like the giveaway he had late in the game. He ended up making up for it on the back check, which is good, but can't happen. There was a couple other just bad plays in their own end. Offensively, he was fine. Missed a couple of chances, but didn't hate his offensive play. But the play in their own end was terrible as a team effort. But he wasn't good either. Blue Jackets and the Rangers win streak has to be one of the saddest headlines. It's definitely up there. It's definitely up there. What else happened though in the NHL tonight? Nashville and Anaheim tied at 1. New Jersey lost. Pittsburgh and Cal Peterson just can't make a save. Pittsburgh wins that. Buffalo beat Carolina in a shootout. Detroit beating Chicago in overtime. Kane with the winner there, which is just you couldn't have wrote a better script there. And DeBrincat scored the goal late too. That must have been an entertaining game. And then Kyle Connor wins it in overtime for the Jets. I didn't love Tarasenko that much. I thought he was okay though. To me, I wish they got. I like Tarasenko. It was cool seeing him here as he was one of my childhood favorites, but I still feel they would have been better off getting Barbashev instead of Tarasenko in that deal with Mikkel and then getting Kane in a later deal. I feel it would have added more balance to their lineup, but it is what it is. Passes in the past. Yeah, I love what I'm seeing from Rempe, MJ. Love what I'm seeing from Rempe. Lost to the Blue Jackets in the year 2024. This team is on tears. We could have lost that last game in Philly too. Yeah, if they were able to hit the net, yeah, I agree. Yes, leave a like if you haven't. You guys have been killing it. You guys gave like 80 likes on the last post game. See if we can do it again. Yeah, Mika firing a clapper from Narnia. And yeah, like that's the thing. It's not the fact that they lost ground. Like in the grand scheme of things, like it doesn't really matter standing wise right now. Which Carolina still technically could catch up. Like let's not pretend they can't. But for right now, it's not like it's hitting them bad on the standings. But you still don't want to see efforts like this, no matter what. Vladdy was great. Would have loved Barbashev to um, yeah, could have brought him in last year. And yeah, Matt put it in the chat. Everyone follow the Rangers Central Instagram page. Thank you for linking that. We fired that up. I still got to get the link to that in the bio. And yeah, we're doing some work there, doing like graphics and stuff for final scores, game day post, all of that. So go give it a follow. Um, I don't think they win with Igor in that. Like maybe he steals it, but they were really bad defensively in this game. That I don't even know if it would have made a difference. But yeah, I mean, Quick was fine in my opinion. He did have struggles, but like they were really bad defensively. They had 5 expected goals against in the game. Yeah, you're not gonna win hockey games when you're that poor defensively. And again, sure, Igor's been on a tear lately, and maybe, but regardless, it again would have been a scenario where it's masking the bigger issue in the game where they really just they didn't play good enough. They didn't play good enough. I've been on that stance, Rick, too. True does not deserve to see anymore. I'm sorry. You don't gotta apologize to me. I've never been a fan of True getting the say. Even when he got the C in the first place and people were defending it, I didn't see it. Yeah, can't go 1-3 against Columbus. And yeah, it's again like I don't understand 3 coaches in, and those two continue to play together. They continue to play together. It just does not make sense. I get the concerns from fans about playing like any of these teams in round 1. Again, like I said, March. Let's find out in March because you're making the deadline moves and you're playing playoff teams. You gotta be better. Top 6 players were embarrassed by the rookies with less than 5 games under their belts. Yeah. And yeah, I agree. Like, Quick isn't why they lost. He could have been better. And like I said before, I wish his rebound control was better, but he's still not why they lost at all. No, no. But like Igor's been that good that's why the argument could be made that if Igor's in net, maybe they win. But I still don't even know. MJ, I still don't believe there's. I'm sorry, I don't believe anyone on this team is captain material. I don't see it with anyone. There's not really a lot of elite defensemen, like unless you consider Hannafin elite. I'd say he's probably the best defenseman on the market, though. but I don't think they're going to give up quality or prime assets to get a defenseman. I think they're so set on getting forwards that we're just going to see another 6/7 defenseman come in like Mikkola last year and Braun the year before, where it will be what it will be. But I'm going to wrap things up here. I do appreciate every single one of you who tuned into the post-game show here. Game 59. Next game is on Wednesday. They got to be a lot better. You cannot lose to the Blue Jackets 3 times in one season. It cannot happen. So, yeah, sucks. It's infuriating, but we'll see how they rebound from this one. And all of a sudden, it's just 2 more games after that until the deadline. They play, I believe, Toronto and then Florida. And then it's all of a sudden it's about to be the trade deadline. So yeah, we're getting in the crunch time a bit. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget to leave a like. Let's see if we get to 80 again on another one of these post-game shows. I'd appreciate it. Don't forget to leave a like if you haven't. I already just said that, my guy. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't, is what I meant to say. We're on the road to 3K subs. Turn on your notifications too so you know when I upload or go live on the channel next. And I will see you guys in the next one.